Right.
All right, so what happened 2 weeks ago?
Well,
The group found a cult.
Cold.
We are
Always
trying to re-theocratize a city that has been overrun by cops working for an engineering guild. They have
Basically.
they've trapped a god in a crystal, or at
Well,
least are
technically he was
utilizing
already
a god
trapped,
that
yeah.
is trapped in a crystal to get science the unfair way, and we're here to be like, hey, stop that.
The only problem is, we're cops, so we're kind of against the law. Everyone except Ra.
No, Ra is definitely against the law.
Ra is not yet publicly against the law. Privately, of course, but publicly?
Of course.
Publicly, Ra is an upstanding chocobo wrangler.
Slash Shadow Hunter.
If you kill Quetzal, I'm walking to Minnesota, and I'm stringing you from your own roof by your ankles, Robert. I will let the cold do the work for me.
Jeez.
Well, that probably won't happen because that is Artemis's job to not to string you up, but to save the bird.
Indeed. So, who wants to do what now that you have found a base of operations to work out of?
Ra is gonna go over to Myth, and he's gonna be like, hey, so I'm gonna go try talking to Ramu. You wanna come?
Dayre. Please?
Yeah.
Are you... Where... Are you headed to the temple?
No.
Temple or
Down
other...
in the prayer room.
Ah. Of course.
And then Ra's gonna go look for Surge.
Well, Serge is kind of just, he's doing his usual I'm a priest thing, hanging out in this warehouse, which has been repurposed for the use of laying low while...
I think he was talking to Artemis at the end of the last
Yeah,
session.
they were down in the basement, right?
Yeah.
So Ra and Myth come down, and are they interrupting something, or are you guys just chilling?
I think they had just wrapped up.
Perfect. Well, seeing as how you guys are down here, that saves me a trip at the very least. Serge, do you have, by chance, any religious candles laying around?
I was able to gather some few supplies when we were forced to make our exodus from the temple proper. Our provisions aren't much, but...
Is it possible I could use some of them?
Condoms.
He kind of glances you over and just figures, yeah, why not?
Great.
Take what you need, but please.
Mine should still be burning if you want to use those instead.
Would those work for ritual casting divination? I'm asking Robert out of character.
Are they a spell component?
For Artemis? No, they're just candles.
No, I was
Yeah, it's a material component.
Yeah, then they would work.
Oh, great. So as to not dwindle the supplies of our friend here, I think I will.
Do you not have a casting focus of your own?
Oh no, I do. They're just consumed, is all.
So you wish to speak with him in a more direct manner? Here, I've some supplies for that. I'm going to take out 5 sticks of incense.
Ra just kind of looks around the room at all the material components being thrust his way, and quietly takes Myths.
All right, Loop. All
Well,
right, I can.
It is
Sorry,
good to
you
know
trying-
that we have backups.
What are you trying to do out of curiosity? This doesn't seem like normal.
I'm going to
Right.
speak to Ramu.
Um,
Artemis looks at Myth. Is that a thing he can actually do?
Well, I spoke to
Hmm.
Ifrit
Pardon?
back
What?
in the chamber after this happened, and Raj gestures at himself vaguely.
Lord Ifrit is dead, no?
Raj nods slowly.
Do not pretend to know the metaphysics behind whatever they are. It's quite possible they can't completely die as we do.
Mm.
Having said that, that might have only worked because you had met Breed before, but no real harm in trying, I suppose.
Raj just raises his eyebrows twice at Artemis and smiles. I am all about trying.
Serge pipes
I
up. He
bet
says,
you are.
Serge pipes up. He says, have a care at the very least. Given the state of things.
Oh yes, I'm aware he's not going to be happy. However, I think I have just the right kind of gusto, as I think I'll need going into this. Afterwards, Myth, I am planning on paying a visit to the Commerce District. So, if you guys have anything you particularly want, I'm fine with doing a little shopping trip for all of us, seeing as how I'm looked upon a little more favorably.
I have nothing that I need in mind. Oh, why do I have Magicite, Lightning Magicite, or is it?
I think I gave it to you.
Gave it back. Okay.
Yeah.
Get me a staff if you could.
Oh, no, make the list while I'm communing, please. I need to focus on
staff.
this. Ra's gonna tuck a little closer into Serge and say, seeing as how he is your patron, is there anything you terribly want me to do? Or bring up? Or...
Serge does not seem like he thinks this is the fondest idea. But he repeats himself, basically, just have care. We've tried to commune with him before, but, well, kind of just shakes his head.
Well,
Even my words weren't able to reach him.
Ra nods slowly. I'll see what I can do. And he... Is there like, how's this area set up? Is there like a little altar?
Yeah, they cleared out basically a space, a small storage space, and kind of just hung up some drapes and set up the altar and have like the candles spread out. And it's
Alright.
pretty, it's pretty cozy overall.
So, from my acolyte background, I want to do my best to arrange the candles in a way that is most acclimative to what I'm trying to do.
I'll help.
So I guess you're gonna make them into the shape of a lightning bolt.
Religion check?
Yeah, religion check.
Technically, I have advantage because Myth's helping.
Yeah, so roll again, yeah.
Bada
Alright.
bing, bada boom, bada bop.
So, it would be elementary to think that arranging the lightning bolt would work, but you come to realize pretty quickly that's a silly idea. You kind of get intuitive knowledge that the pattern would be a bit more elaborate. So you kind of set up 2 circles of candles, and they kind of get a paintbrush. There we go.
Ooh.
And you kind of have like an outer circle like this, dude, and then you have like a inner circle like this, dude.
Oh, right.
Are you drawing this on the wrong layer?
You're
No,
drawing
they're just
wrong
really
way.
small. They're just really tiny, like right here, and very hard to see.
Are they?
Yeah, they're just tiny and hard to see. They're right. They're like
I went yellow on a background that has a lot of yellow components.
I don't see anything.
Neither do I.
That's fine. So after that, because I'm
Sure.
attuned, I am attuned to
Yeah.
lightning still, and then I want to summon the, what was it called? Raiju?
Raiju.
I want to summon the Raiju. There it is.
Alright.
And I'm just gonna hold him in my lap while I'm doing this.
Okay.
I'll probably be kneeling down and kind of whispering I imagine that as a part of a pantheon. Well, I do have Shiva as my predominant patron figure, or there's also like rites and rituals known for the other 5.
Yeah.
So I'll be
You could ask Artemis to worship some or Syracuse, his high priest.
yeah, we good.
And I'm going to ritual cast divination.
Still, respect is respect.
You want me to click it or?
Yep. Okay, so divination is cast. Oof. So you reach out with your thoughts into basically the plane of well, I guess it would be technically the plane of air. And
Did
you feel yourself following this trail, this just mental trail, as you reach out. But as you go further and further, the trail feels more and more obscured. And you start to feel just the briefest of tug, not really a tug, but a pushing back against the probing. I'm gonna need a wisdom save. All right, pretty good. You feel a palpable tension the more you press forward through this fog, and you feel perhaps the faintest glimmer in the distance, but it seems to be immeasurable, the distance between you and it. And eventually the tension grows to such a degree that you can feel in the pit of your stomach just this intuitive sense of dread.
Ra's gonna feel around with his left hand for some kind of physical contact with Myth. And then he's gonna keep going.
All right.
Does he grab my arm or?
You can decide. I don't care. He's just kind of like palming the ground to his left. He could be touching your fucking ankle for all I know.
All right. So you keep how much longer do you want to do this? The more you probe, the deeper and deeper this dread grows within you.
I'm gonna go until I feel it test my wisdom again.
All right, so you continue to push, and your nerves at this point are starting to just fray. I'm gonna need another wisdom save.
Hey.
Crit. Holy crap. All right. So you push.
So hold up. Ra, in like as he appears, he's sitting cross-legged in the circles that he arranged the candles in, and his teeth are gritting and he's sweating, and his hair's become a little disheveled. There's probably like sparks of electricity running along his body.
There is a
Raw.
little bit of a stack charge around you right now.
I've almost got him. Just a little more.
Are you still touching Myth while this static charge?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. Basically. Yeah. He's grabbed onto my shoe.
So as you push forward, even through this dread, which is, come to be quite tangible, you feel that glimmer grow stronger and stronger. And through the haze, you find the briefest silhouette of a very tall, very imposing figure donning billowing robes and beard for days.
All right, so
Beard.
Ra just takes as deep a breath as he can with how constricted his lungs feel at this point, as he looks up at where he imagines the face above the beard would be.
You don't see a clear depiction of a face. You see a silhouette.
Yeah.
There are veins of blue lightning that jump through the beard.
Yeah, his beard is.
And the eyes are kind of just blazing with just a bright blue spark at all times. Like, looking at them kind of directly hurts your mental vision.
That's fine. I'm doing it anyways. Ramu! You would be stifled like this?
Oh my gosh.
Ra's shouting at gods is a thing that continues. Has Ra shouted at every god we've met so far?
So far, yeah.
Probably yes. Fairly certain we are.
Yeah, I can't wait for him to meet a carbuncle and just start screaming in his face.
Does he respond?
So there's a moment of quiet as the tension settles. And during that brief moment, you can feel the eyes upon you, piercing through you.
Ra's
And-
grip on Myth's shoe tightens.
Suddenly, the most loudest, ear-splitting crack of thunder just racks through your entire body, and you are ejected. Just... you go flying from your spot. You hit the ceiling, and you flump down onto your, basically down onto your face.
Any damage?
Not in the mood for visitors, then, was he?
How high's the ceiling?
The ceiling is about...
I mean, this is a warehouse.
This is a storage room within a warehouse.
So it's not very big?
Got pinball off the roof a couple times, but
You take... Well, first of all, I need another wisdom saving throw. Okay, good. You take... Yeah, you take 6 psychic damage, and you take 7 bludgeoning damage as you hit the ceiling and fall to the ground.
Alright, down to 46. So Ra just belly flops back to where he was sitting. The candles have probably been thrown astray, and he's breathing real heavily. You realize that he'd been holding his breath for most of that.
I'm going to assume that there was a what's it called again? There was a was there a shockwave when he was sent flying up?
Yeah, you felt just a very, you didn't see it, but you felt just a pure force radiate from Ra himself, which launched him into the air and just flump.
So after Ra takes a second, just kind of rubbing his bruising ribs, he just starts scrambling for the candles and resetting them, and he's like, I got to him. One more time.
You sure that's wise? It does not seem that
You shout.
No. Come on. This is, gotta show some persistence here.
What? No, what happened? And what did you feel?
What did I feel? Really, really hot, really, really briefly.
Give me an insight.
You know how sometimes when you fasten a belt too tight, how it sort of floods all the blood in that region and like kind of chokes it a little bit? It was like that, except my whole body. Kind of like being 50 feet underwater.
I would not.
And do you think it best to repeat your endeavor?
Ra looks at Artemis and says, "Of course you wouldn't. You're not a summoner." Yes, absolutely.
And no, I meant...
Yes, you're absolutely right. I'm not a summoner. That's why I wasn't catapulted 30 feet off the ground.
Well, every vocation has its hazards.
Ra, listen to me. What?
Why don't you explain what happened first, and then we'll decide whether it's safe for you to hop back in.
Ra furrows his brow and he says,
Yes,
listen.
Yes, I had... Yes, before you attempt again, back in Alakashia.
Wait,
here I had...
Wait, quiet. You need to realize this isn't dogged persistence. I'm not doing this for an audience. I'm not doing this because I think I can free him. I'm doing this because I need to show him that there's love here from me.
I think Ramu is not the god that would appreciate attempted.
That's an entirely different... No.
Repeated attempts of trying to get yourself into whatever mess that you just did as love.
I'm not trying to coddle him.
He's not a god. He's a god of wisdom. And not. I mean, I'm just saying you have really messed up ideas of what love is if you think Ramu is its deity.
Do you think rams love each other?
No, because they're both male.
What?
What's he doing now, Goopball?
Just get out of the way. I'm going back in.
Before you do... Okay, first of all, I'm going to... Alright. Bomb at the summer core. How much fate energy do I want to... 5. I'll spend 2. First, you regain 6 HP. Second, before you do, get some sort of impression as to what Ramu's thoughts, or rather, if the experience I had with Ifrit was of any indication, his emotions.
Oh, if you
So-
can't get that, I'll take a decent physical representation of him.
I was drawn into the plane of air almost immediately, with no rhyme or reason detailing any path I should choose, until I felt a shift in the pressure that I described, like an easing in a direction. And so I followed it, and then was repelled by a pressure greater than had been present prior, and I shoved through it.
Uh,
Eventually,
that didn't really. You
eventu-
see his face as she just like as she listens to you as kind of like
eventually
really-
I saw a silhouette of a very tall man with a great, enormous, actually, beard. Had to have been
Knew it.
hundreds of feet tall. Piercing blue eyes with veins of electricity crackling all about him. And then he zapped me.
Right, okay. Just before you go back in and potentially get your brain fried, did you draw that?
Ah,
Ross shakes his head. I promised to do so afterwards, but I need this now. We've
on to the
we've
quest.
all seen what Ifrit needed. And Artemis, you and I have seen what Shiva needs. I am not approaching Ramu as a friend. I am approaching him that I might convince him that our tenacity is inspiring.
Wait, you're not a person. Did you just shout at him the minute you got in there?
Of course I did. And I'm going to
Cool.
do it again.
Uh,
Shut up, TB.
oh my gosh. Jeez. As
Does anyone have any spells to protect his brain from being fried if he's going to do this again?
he can cast death wood on himself, can he not?
Rogers brings his...
You see Myth's face just as Myth mumbles that you just that was a mumble because she has her palm for a hand firmly placed on her face and part of her palm is like pressing into her mouth.
Rod looks at her and says, I am at least glad to see that we have two very different kinds of summoners.
Okay, but for real now, can someone bless him or abjure his mind or something?
I can protect him from energy?
I
It could do something.
It mostly
What-
just hurt my head. So if you could do something about, like, I don't know, mentally stuff.
So Ra, that insight check earlier, what you felt when you got blasted back out of the plane of air. Phew. It felt like raw anger.
Good.
If raw anger could just like had a physical form to it.
Like raw anger.
Hi, Case.
Hey Wyatt, I know you weren't here when he said so, but he did say that any unmuting quips from the peanut gallery gets -5 permanent HP to their characters, so...
I love to have 10 HP.
Oof. Anyways, the question predominantly was that, well, Lord Ifrit had told us to what was it
Remind
to
Shiva of
awaken.
her
Yes.
compassion for mortals, but you may notice that only takes into account Shiva. You don't actually know what Ram was like before.
Exactly. However, it could be the case that whatever qualities that Ramu has need reminded of it could of I dare say it's not whatever I kind of make a vague gesture towards Ra and his contraption of like sigil, I guess, of candles, not what you're proving.
Maybe Ra isn't the ideal person to talk to. Is that what you're trying to say, but trying to be very polite about it?
Then who? Well, then who would you suggest in that case?
Well, that is an excellent question.
I need to make something clear with what we're doing here. Ramu is not staying in a place where he's going to be tapped for energy like this. If we can stop the energy from being tapped from him, all the better. But I think that it's very likely that the events that transpired in Mist and in Alakashir will likely be mirrored here as well.
What?
And when that happens, Ramu is not going to be thankful to those responsible. He's going to burn everything with that lightning. I need to show him that I can stand up to it. I need to show him that we share in his anger. Not that we are trying to goad him into some placativeness.
And this will stop him from frying everything with lightning. How? Because you showed him that also angry?
He will be much more sympathetic towards the directions we suggest he turn his
Will
light.
he, though?
Ron nods. I'm sure. We might have to beat him up for it, but
You're basing this on what exactly? Two experiences with them so far. I'll remind you that the first one didn't go quite according to plan, and the
the
second,
one absolutely did, and we did beat the crap out of him. So, Ra cracks his knuckles. Any more suggestions before Ra just starts petting Raiju?
Raiju is pretty staticky, but
Ra also probably has an afro right now.
I do believe that Ram will be in the trade with you, but all right. On one condition. If you manage to get to a point where you can see him, memorize as much detail as possible.
All right. I'll pen down your weird crush afterwards. That said, don't want this to ruin the paper. So, and he digs his the tome out of his inventory and just kind of tosses it to you. Ready for round 2, little guy? And he pets Raiju again. Sits back down. Burns more incense. Casts divination again.
alright, so you reach out again.
Read the description of divination, by the way.
I know, it's a question. I'm gonna end with a question. It's all right.
No, second part.
If you cast a spell 2 more times, cumulative 25% chance for each casting at the first, you get a random reading. All right, that's fine. As soon as Robert
Okay.
gives me the go-ahead, I'm continuing.
Technically speaking, he didn't like actually cast it. Like he actually technically didn't get a reading first time.
I mean, he got shunted away. Does that count?
Does
That
it?
is A very effective.
It's a response.
Okay,
I
fair
mean,
enough.
the current state of the gods makes any spell that puts you in contact with them kind of fucky.
Fair enough. Have a good.
I'm just gonna laugh if he ends up on like Shiva's doorstep.
Gets thrown so hard by the resulting explosion that he crashes into Ice Palace.
Alright, let's see what you can do then.
So am I back?
Alright, feel free to do so.
All right, so you.
Artemis turns to the myth
Can I try to put the destination like right back where I was?
and whispers, "His ring is right. You can do the same thing, right?"
Not right.
So
Wait, sorry. Can you say that again? Well, can you type that out in chat? Where I think Robert's going to be narrating.
Yep, on you.
Next.
I'm trying to narrate. So how it works is basically your physical body doesn't go anywhere, but your mind is trying to call out to him, and as such, trying to call out to him seems to have like pulled your spiritual sort of self into the. It's kind of fucky. Hello, pounding typing.
Hello.
I'm just gonna wait for the pounding typing to stop. So if you
Cutting out. Robert,
fill out with your mind.
you're cutting out.
Of course I am.
No, you're back now.
Why do we record these? No, you feel out with your mind.
Because no one takes notes.
True.
Sorry.
You feel out with your mind. You try to find basically where you last were, and you follow that trail, and it's much the same. The further you go down the trail, the more intense the pressure is. It seems like it's subsided, but still, the pressure mounts the closer you get towards the feeling of this source of light that was basically a divinity. Got another wisdom save, buddy.
That's uh-oh.
That is an uh-oh. And the music just stops.
Record scratch.
It's a big
Looks at Ra. Yep, that's me.
You're probably wondering how I got in this situation. All right, so need another wisdom. Well, no, you failed that wisdom save. Never mind. That was a fucking... Yeah, so you kind of like mentally outstretch your hand, and as you do, another just blast of force overwhelms you. You take 20 psychic damage, and you are forced back out.
All right. Do I go flying again?
Yeah. You hit a wall this time. You take 2 bludgeoning damage.
Surge, I need yours now.
You know, he's the god of wisdom, not
Yeah,
tenacity.
shut up. Ra goes upstairs, grabs supplies he needs, comes back down, His hands are a little shaky as he's rearranging the sigils. I promise,
So,
if this one doesn't go better, it'll be the last.
Are you retro
Right.
casting these?
Yes.
Therapy. So you take 10 minutes in between each, just
Oh God, my back.
I'm
uh,
not saying you deserve it, but you kind of deserve it, Koopa.
Of course I deserve it. And this is what Ramu
yeah.
deserves as well.
watching you melt your brain trying to talk to him.
No.
And yelling at him when you do?
No! He deserves us!
Oh God, what has he done?
Artemis, technically that's blasphemy.
Oh,
I think we're a little late to be considering that, to be honest with you.
Whatever. He sits back down. Okay. One more time, alright, little guy? He says this to Raiju. And then rubs his temples a little bit. You old bastard. Come on, just listen to me.
This is definitely going to have the random chance of sending him somewhere wrong.
And there's the third cast.
all right, is high good or bad? I should have asked with the
High
second one.
is absolutely good.
All right. I'm gonna make this a public roll then.
what?
It's
What is?
not in the single digits.
It's not,
Wah, wah, wah.
but it was a cumulative 25% chance. And you find yourself reaching out to. I'm gonna GM roll this.
There's a lot of good options, at least.
All right. So you reach out and
Please tell me it's Inari.
you find yourself in the Feywilds. You actually just kind of fall right through the roof. Flump.
What the hell?
Oh, what the hell indeed?
Is that
Who-
Inari?
Who are you?
Or is it...
You have a fox person sitting there with a big, huge, honking bowl of ramen.
Do I recognize them?
It's an Ari. I rolled a 1.
Ra, still probably looking pretty singed. Gets up to his knees and then stands. Hey.
Hey, you're one of Myth's friends. What's she been up to?
Ra shakes his head a little slowly. You're not Ramu.
No, I am not.
As much as I'd love to catch up, I have a few questions for you.
Oh, you have questions? Well, I mean, I have questions. But all right, fine. And he puts the big old bowl down between the two of you.
Did you get her apology?
Apology?
He nods.
You kind of feel just a sense of serenity fall over you. This is definitely not the plane of air. This is elsewhere. But There's a lot of verdant greenery outside the walls of his home. From out of the corner of your eye, you can see that there are just massive cliffs with like waterfalls and just, yeah, very tranquil.
Roz's left eye just twitches as a bolt of static electricity connects his two eyelids as he looks out the window.
Well, all right. Question for a question then?
You didn't answer. Did you get her apology?
I don't think I did.
I think she's abandoned you.
Wait, what?
Didn't you?
Definitely not. Wait, she didn't. Wait, he didn't. Wait, I thought. Wait a second.
Am I misunderstanding things?
Wait. Okay, so what was the timeline here? It was me. It was me apologizing for killing Ifri, and then he immediately went off. He immediately, like, on my end, he waited a few seconds and then bleeped off. I waited a bit and he didn't bleep back on, so I just assumed that he needed some time to think and
Okay.
like be with himself.
Okay, let me rephrase then. I was under the impression that your connection had wavered.
Play? Or is Rhythm 2 just gonna be... Alright.
Rhythm 1 has been working, so...
Loop. Oops. I keep forgetting the commands.
It's a $sign, I believe.
Yeah. Loop. Okay. Well, I haven't been able to feel her presence. So, as long as she's well, I suppose I can be satisfied with that. Next order of business, we'll deal with the Ifrit.
Has anybody come to you with mention of a prophecy? I know I shouldn't be answering with a question, but I need to know how thorough I need to make this.
Well, right, you're kind of breaking the rules here. It's question for a anyway. Leave it to a mortal, not play by the... No. Can't say I've ever heard of any sort of prophecy.
Myth and I, and Artemis, and Sylvia, Anna, Taka, all of us.
All of you...
Ra looks like he's sort of fumbling for his words, or at least trying to think them through. He's not really able to maintain eye contact. He's looking down, and his fists are both clenched. We went up in contest against Ifrit. And we proved his better.
Ah. Inari takes a deep breath and pushes to his feet. Her feet, their feet. Still can't quite tell. Fae are fucking weird like that.
That's not the full answer. He will not be the first.
In that case, I'm going to need just a moment here.
Will not be the last.
Right. He will not be the last.
Just a moment, please. Inari closes their eyes and reaches a hand up and out as if to feel around for something. kind of muttering something imperceptible under his tongue. Inari then just sort of swivels on a heel and just points right to a certain direction, is balancing on a single tippy toe as they just observe this perfect balance, kind of teetering, with their hand outstretched in a certain direction. And it's like, it's faint, but there. I feel it. Okay. Well, something to think about. Anyway.
Like Myth, I am also a summoner. And I showed up here in an attempt to commune for the third time with Ramu, who is... he is being levied against by certain atrocities in Ardengale. And I know that once we free him, or at least once he is freed, I need to separate from that idea a little bit. We're probably going to have to do the same to him, and then to Shiva, and Leviathan, and... Do you remember the shadowy individual that we were in combat against? He calls himself Kale.
Oh, right. Had to use a lot of my power just to save Myth from him.
Ra nods slowly. The faction he's a part of, I believe it's them that are our true opposition. They're just very difficult to nail down, and they are quite potent, even by themselves. So despite the hurdles in front of us, this prophecy that I've mentioned is one that we are intrinsically tied to, that we must be the individuals to triumph over them, that either none other can or none other will.
Inari has since turned around and has plopped right down on their ass, and they're just sort of slowly nodding their head. Like, I see, I see.
Though this is not where I wanted to come, he says with a deep inhale as he just looks around the room, much less outside. It is a relief that this is where I ended up.
Yeah, kind of odd that you found your way here. Mortal souls don't normally find themselves here unless they're invited in. And usually, it's the Fae people that do it, and usually to mischievous ends.
Am I intruding?
I mean, it kind of didn't knock.
Ross sits down cross-legged and takes one of his hands and on the floor.
Oh, Ra, welcome. Hi, I just had a bowl of ramen. Do you want some?
Rogers smiles and holds up a hand in decline.
He kind of smooths out his robes and he says, right, well,
I believe it's my turn now.
it is.
Can you give me a tour?
Well, he, it pushes their way to their feet and slides open a screen door to their garden. Lots of very strange blooms that you've never seen before. Trees kind of like bend at a very strange slant. The leaves are kind of like a pinkish purple on them. And the land kind of feels like it's alive. More alive so than any forest you've been through. Everything sort of just seems to have a pseudo sentience to it. And the landscape is actually, when you look upon it, it's almost very picturesque. Well, it took me a lot of time to cultivate all this, but as you can imagine, being isolated here, well, you kind of need to have a hobby. So
Ra opens his mouth to ask a question and then catches himself as he just takes in the surroundings before saying, your turn again.
well, I guess my question here is, now that you're here, perhaps you'd like to make a pact with me?
That was what I was hoping to determine. We'll see by the end.
Nari kind of smiles to themselves a little bit. Man gets stir crazy, locked up in a prison of their own design. Though, this one, it was self-fashioned.
How was Myth invited here?
Well, there's a big story behind that, you see. This place is a plane all of its own. You folk call it the Feywild. It's definitely not a place that conforms to the laws that you mortals know.
Ra pauses a little bit on their path and just bends over and dawdles at some of the flowers before straightening back up and continuing.
The flowers purr for some reason.
He seems really immersed in this place.
For whatever reason, the flowers purr when you touch them.
Are there any katana anywhere?
Are you asking him this?
No, I'm just looking around.
It does not seem like he keeps any weapons in his house.
Okay. You don't have to completely detail his backstory with Myth if you don't want to. You can just say he relays most of her intro session.
Right, so basically, he explains how while the Feywild is an isolated plane all of its own, it's not perfect, and sometimes there's an overlap with the real world. And she just so happened to cross into one of those overlaps, and he was like, oh, hey, summoner.
So, she appeared the same way I did then.
Well, in the grand scheme of things, divination magic can be finicky. See, you're not quite really here. Your mental presence is, but,
She was, in all forms of it.
he nods.
Let me see. Ra just sort of shuffles his Shadowhunter clothes back into place, And he tries to flatten out some of the burnt bits. Your turn again.
Inari thins out their lips and just sort of kind of ponders on the spot, sort of rocking on a heel. So in regards to big old Beardy, what is your plan exactly?
Ra's mouth opens a little bit. This is recent. And by this I mean me, not just shooting guns at everything. I have tapped somehow into a part of myself I didn't know existed. A part that relied very heavily on a sense of faith and indeterminism, centralized on Ifrit, and I suppose also on you and Ramu and Shiva. There is a complacence that comes with that. There is an ease that it grants. Like lying in a hammock that is constructed of the whims of the gods. Their teachings, their opinions, the paths that they craft for us. They don't leave much to the imagination. But there is another side of that, I believe. Another side that is not quite so easy. A side that necessitates that we do our own duty for them. That we show them who we are, what we are capable of, and that just as we deserve them, that they also deserve us. Ramu's followers, the ones that follow him directly in Ardengale, they are risking their lives. And I fear that it's not even within their power to have as much consequence laid through their actions as it is ours. Mine, myth, Artemis's, prophecies and whatnot. I see it as my personal duty to solve this any way I can. And the first step of that is screaming down Ramu's door that I am here. And that he deserves me.
Wow. I mean, I can't really pretend to understand half of that, but wow. That's inspiring.
It's an interesting feeling when you show up at the doorstep of a god with the intent to kick it off its hinges. I suppose I shouldn't really be surprised that he zapped me a couple of times. You could probably tell that, though. Raj looks down at the singed parts of his clothes.
Nari gets real close and sniffs at you. Yeah, there's a certain odeur de ozone.
I suppose that extends to you as well. This isolation. He just sort of sighs melancholically. You deserve us too. I hope that that won't manifest as us beating the shit out of you, like we had to do for Ifrit.
Inari kind of smiles at you. Doesn't really say anything, but smiles warmly at you. Folding his hands into his robes. Roll insight.
Nice.
Yeah,
That's 2 crit fails in a row.
nice. Well, things being as they are, I think you're on the right path. There's a certain revelation to be had here. I suppose the proverbial fox is out of the bag. That the gods, as you know them, aren't as divine as the legends would have us believe, have you believe.
My turn.
I mean, I had more to say, but it's gone now.
Apologies. I am... Well, to put it bluntly, I'm having a terrible time reading you.
Well, that's because I'm not a book.
Raj smiles and nods. That's fair. Though I may pursue as much upfrontedness as I can, it's not something I would impose on somebody else. Especially not somebody that doesn't get conversation very often.
Yeah, I haven't... He kind of waves his hand towards the flowers in his garden. I can't get them to stop singing. They've been doing it even more, ever since Myth came by. They've been very, very enthusiastic.
Oh dear.
Why did I make them sing again? I forget. Anyway.
Is there anything of particular note that you want to ask, or is this the end?
No. But I think, you're on the right path. The gods, as you call them, they've come to be as they are because certain individuals, much like yourselves, with a connection to the latent energies that flow throughout this world. Having been bound so long to their respective planes has suffused them with prominent amount of that element. And have you ever encountered an elemental?
Have I?
I don't think you ever fought one yet.
Would any of the demons count?
You can give me a history or religion or arcana check, and I'll give you whatever is relevant to... Alright, religion...
11.
Then 11. You can't expressively say that you've encountered an elemental, so
Okay. Not that I know.
well, elementals are very impulsive, very emotion-driven, and to draw upon that energy and take it onto yourself, well, it can change you.
So this apotheosis that these individuals underwent was more akin to adopting of a chaotic mantle.
Inari just sort of nods. I suppose that's a way to phrase it.
I see.
To rob them of that energy, I suppose. Or to dispel that energy would see a rather brisk return to their senses. So, in short, just keep doing what you're doing, right?
It is very, very pleasing to finally have someone actually encourage me. That said, I think that I must decline the pact. Ra holds up a finger. That said, it is not with a stipulation. Or without a stipulation. Maybe invite me back sometime. There will be no chains binding us, but I am eager to learn why you built this. To enjoy these vistas once again.
He smiles again, but give me another insight check. Oof. There's kind of like a little bit of a crack in his smile at the very corner of his lip. It twitches just ever so slightly. Seems like there's something he's hiding, but it doesn't seem like it's particularly towards you.
Alright. Ra gets, just in his posture, a lot less immersed in the tranquil sort of walk that they've been having together. He imposes himself a little more, and his smile fades just slightly and his eyebrows set a little more sternly, and he says, I require it.
Require the
Invitation.
Oh, well, right.
No pact, but we are absolutely friends.
I mean, I'm not sure if... One second. Inari closes their eyes, holds up a hand, and just kind of raises their head. Takes a deep breath. The gardens in Highgate. No. The gardens in Ardengale. It's slim, but I can sense just the most minor of tear there. That's how you can reach me.
Well, we both have duties to attend. Whatever masochism this is for you, and well,
Right. Do you need help getting out of here?
I don't think I could really put my heart into it if I had to try myself.
Nari just sort of smiles to themselves and just rolls their head and just flexes their fingers and approaches you. It's like, all right, hold on to your butt.
Oh,
And
can you send me back with like a little lightning bolt? Is that a possibility? Is that on the menu?
a little lightning.
Yeah, just like. Psst.
Oh. All right. Yeah. No, but seriously, boop. He boops you on the nose, and you just go.
Do I get lightning bolted?
You do.
Yes. Raj just doubles over, coughing into his arm.
Ah,
Is
Rob.
it loud?
Oh wait. We should probably read out what we said in the chat for.
All right. So meanwhile,
Artemis, you start.
Oh god. Where do we start?
With I was thinking that we start with Artemis leans over towards Nick and whispers. Well,
Artemis leans over towards Beth and whispers, "If his brain gets, you do the this thing that he's doing."
oh, not right now, I'm afraid. Though I'm not keen to risk myself into acts like this, even if I could.
I think it's going well.
Hmm. Anyways, I'm gonna assume that the wait, actually no. Well, if you'll pardon, I would like to.
Talk to Serge.
Yep.
Hey, you do that. I'll maybe try and cushion the wall with something for when he inevitably gets blasted back again.
Okay, and then. Sounds like a plan then.
Don't really have the tools to do that, though. Do you think hitting a wall of light hurts less than hitting a wall of stone?
If the wall of light would give, I suppose?
It's not historically been known to do that. You know, I've never actually been hit by the blast of light. I think it's only Ra that's ever been hit by it.
Are you referring to the incident back in Highgate?
Yes, instant. That's a really good way to put that. His brain isn't coming out of his skull through his ears. Maybe he's had more success this time?
I'm gonna assume that she talks to Serge and Artemis makes the brain comment after she gets back. Myth seems to perk up a little at the suggestion. That would be good, especially if Ramu could be reasoned with instead of fought with.
He's usually referred to as the wisest of them all, Koopa.
Maybe I should ask the book if it has any piercing insight stuff on Ra's methodology here, but I suspect I wouldn't get much of anything back of any real use.
Yes,
Yep.
it
Shiva,
is,
at least.
but
Shiva at least had a civil conversation with me before trying to turn me into living ice sculpture.
Yes. Yes, and Lady Shiva is considered to be the most compassionate of the gods. And yet, well, civil conversation or not, I'd been worrying that they had also come to anger and wouldn't be able to reason with them at all.
I mean, again, immediately afterwards, ice-based murder, but, you know, I really felt like I was getting somewhere.
I mentioned the same recounting after what happened to us, Koopa.
And then he mentioned that he was interrupted at the last moment, I believe. Something about hitting Shiva with a bullet.
He smells like toasted almonds.
You-
Oh, sorry, what were you saying?
You could smell him from. Oh, why are you smelling him?
It's not by I assure you. It's the usual result from a great concentration of lemon energy.
Ah,
Nathan, I'm not sure the last time you took a bath.
Yesterday.
I don't believe you.
These espers? We'll reason with them after the fact. Standard hero fare.
the gold. Doesn't feel right to have to, well, fight with the golds. But, well, I suppose the most important part now is to wait for him to finish and then ask him what he's discovered.
Assuming he isn't, brain dead.
Well, I mean, you're the healer here. You tell me.
I'm fine with waiting it out. Give him like 10 minutes.
It's been at least 5 minutes by now, hasn't it? I'm sure more.
So I don't pretend to be an expert healer, unless casting cure wounds makes one an expert. I'm sure that the doctor's saying, let's wait 10 minutes. Doesn't usually go down well when treating a patient.
Well, yes, but if he's in a meditative state, then moving, poking, or prodding him, it could cut it off suddenly. And then he'll yell or something about he was so close, Koopa.
Yes, but the difference is he'll yell at you, and really, what is the difference there?
I suppose you're right. Better than him getting shot.
And right on
He's
cue.
alive.
How much damage do I take from Inari Lightning?
1.
Thank God.
So, you've obviously
specifically
Ramu?
made sure to just do lowest voltage.
So Rod really tries to sell it as he just kind of somersaults forward out of the circle and flops onto his back. Alright. And he slowly gets up. Ramu. He just kind of puts his hands on his hips and slowly rotates his gaze left to right, looking at everyone. I didn't go into this thinking it was going to change our priorities, and I don't think it has. We need first to figure out if he air quotes above his head, Warriors of Darkness are planning on sowing chaos through freeing Ramu in the near future. And then, secondarily to that, we need to convince the lead of this engineering guild that it needs to find alternative sources of power.
Well,
Ramu is very angry. Very angry. Ra just rubs one of the larger burns on his face. Ramu is very angry. And then one on his shoulder. He's so angry. Oh.
well,
God, that hurt.
as it so happens, I think I might be able to arrange the second of those conditions at least.
Perfect.
I will, however, need some small preparation time, and there is, of course, the matter of getting your Southern Bird back.
And your staff. And some new clothes.
I will definitely.
Wait, right, yeah, you can do that new thing you talked about.
Yes.
Anybody else want new clothes? Besides me?
No, no thanks. No, maybe a change of clothes, although maybe a change
I
of
should
clothes may
probably
be
get
more
something other
fitting.
than a bronze shirt. Clothes can't really.
And then Myth kind of like
Why are
looks
you
at
wearing-
the Adari gifted clothes. Well, these haven't been really getting dirty or anything. I'd imagine a new set of clothes would make me stand out less.
Wait, have you been wearing a bronze shirt this entire time?
Not this entire time.
You were planning on confronting a god of lightning while wearing... That's a brave statement. I'm
Well,
glad
I
you're willing.
wasn't exactly planning
I'm
on
glad you're-
confront.
I'm glad you're willing to die for fashion.
Ra looks a little
Does
more
make
distant.
me look good, Koopa.
Sorry. Ra looks a little more distant than he did the past 2 times. He's not really as active.
Right. I'll tell you.
Ra here, and Myth hands Ra about 40 gil just ill. For the clothes.
Ra looks at the money in his hand. Wow, I think this is... He pockets it.
Anyway, how about this?
As in, like, Myth accepted his offer to get some.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
Anyway, how about this? You go off and do your shopping. I'll go get your bird. And we'll meet. She unfurls her map. Now, if I remember correctly, we circled on these where the highest concentration of lightning energy was.
Basically, there are sub-generators in each district that helps more efficiently distribute power to the streets.
Great. Where's the nearest one to the market?
There's probably
So
one in the market district.
it's probably like right there, not in the middle of the markets, but the building itself is pretty easy to pick out if you follow all the cables coming in and out of it, basically.
Great. So we'll meet at the marketplace in 2 hours. I will go rescue a bird, take a short nap, and be right with you. Do get my stuff, though.
All right. Meanwhile, can I have that little side conversation with Surge?
Alright, so Surge is kind of just perplexed at Ra's just very suicidal attempt to reach out to Ramu. He looks at you, Myth, and he's like, I take it your friend does this sort of thing often.
Hero's got a hero.
Myth, like very like visibly winces and just gives a nod, like yeah, yep, yes.
I admire the zeal, though. Not so much the lack of self-preservation. Anyway, was there something you needed?
If we are to learn of, well, seeing that we're having to tackle many fronts at once, I think it would be prudent for us to obtain the maps about the towers to better prepare ourselves to exploring.
Right. And for that, I can point you to pull up my notes. Should be all in perfect place, and if they aren't, I'm gonna riot. For that, I point you to Lewis. I'm sure you've been acquainted with him already.
Hmm. Wait, the woods or?
Lewis.
Sorry. Oh, Lewis. Okay.
Lewis.
Okay. Lewis, the boy. All right then. And I do know some information about the worship of Ramu. I'm afraid I didn't. I am still. Well, I do still. Shiva has been my patron for this time. Is there particular values you use that or Ramu? It is said that Ramu is in favor of. Who is that? Who is that guru thing?
What?
Sorry, I heard something really weird from somebody's mic, and I wasn't in Discord. Pinpoint who it was.
Anyway, so what were you asking?
Basically, like what values Ramu has.
Well, you know, patience, insight, innovation. We're the house of innovations, not so heretical. They'd be the very picture of the things that Ramu typically embodies. You'd think he'd be pleased by this, but well, and he kind of like looks towards generally where Ra sat down to try and commune with tried to commune with Ramu, and he says, the evidence is anyway. It's always long been thought that the clever were the most blessed by him. Those who strive to overcome their limitations, not through strength, but through cunning. And through muting Stewart.
Sorry, what?
There's something going on in the background that's getting picked up by your mic.
Me physically moving, which I can't really do anything about.
But anyway, yeah, basically best he explains is that it's usually the clever and the innovative that are like most kind of found favorable. Or thought to be found most favorable.
Thank you. You. And do you have any particular titles that you use for your position, or?
Well, I'm no bishop, if that's what you're asking. I'm just a priest, and doing the best to look after my flock as dwindling as they are in light of all of this.
All right, priest Serge, then. All right, and then after that, he gives a like gives some kind of respectful gesture, and then goes back to downstairs to have that conversation we mentioned earlier. And let's get on with the story at long last.
After my ears get blasted out. Jeez. All right, so the group is going to set out into the town to procure some supplies.
Ra is, but not quite yet.
Not quite yet.
Yeah.
All right.
After most people have cleared out of the basement, anybody that wants to linger and wait for Ra can do so, but he's going to sit down and do something a little more simple than the divination spell, and he's just going to offer a prayer to Ramu. So after he's adopted the same sort of posture, except this time I guess he'd be sitting on his knees as opposed to sitting cross-legged, facing the altar, he takes a deep inhale and then starts to mutter just under his breath. You spurn a man willing to confront you, despite the enslavement of your strength. I will not be deterred so easily from that which deserves my attention, Ramu. These blasphemies against you, these atrocities being committed here in Ardengale, it is not enough to you that a pragmatic solution be reached. I know that. I felt your rage in the atmosphere around me. I feel it even now. This will be righted, and I can only hope that afterwards our strength is enough to abate your anger before this floating city is bombarded into the ground.
Fortunately, there's no sassy black book to talk down at you.
Ross stands up. He looks at the 40 gil given to him by Myth. TP, did you want anything before I leave?
Oh, right, yes. Armor that these people wear.
Ra
And what
holds
I'd
his...
really like, we can't fucking get, because no, not allowed, because I'm fucking fishing out his purse, pulling out some coins. Fucking, no. Oh, I just want to check the lodestone. Shake, shake. This'll work. Here you go.
He pauses a little before taking the money. Is it just them?
Basically whoever's coming is coming.
Who's around right now?
You have a few unnamed NPC followers. You have Surge, who is kind of like, he figures he's gonna do his part and meditate on things. Lewitz is just kind of hanging around.
But
Just
Myth
kinda off in the-
Myth and Artemis? Are they there?
That's up to them. Are they there?
I'll probably
Artemis is
be.
going to save the bird, so.
Okay. I messed up that last time. I failed to get back to where I'd been. I think I was pulled to where Inari was from.
I see.
I don't know if this is contrived of me or if I'm mistaken in feeling this way, but together we defeated Ifrit.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm the only one that has seen Shiva kill some of us.
TP one.
It's
Much as
Rhythm one
I
broke
may talk down on this prophecy, it's a little ironic that This is the sort of thing I've been chasing my whole life. Don't let Ramu do what she did. I'll have your back this time, but that's not a guarantee. And we both know that.
I believe in whatever we're called, pilots of fate, radiant horizon, warriors of light. I believe in our platoon. And I believe we'll get to exactly where we need to go. But thank you, Koopa.
Hopefully that isn't hell. New armor. Do you have any special
呀，好的，好的，好的，好的。
Moogle measurements that I should know about? Like, do you wanna... Can I get something for your pom-pom?
I mean, you know what? You can fucking go for it. Sure, why not? Just nothing heavy on there, otherwise it'll weigh down, and that's not pleasant, Koopa.
Alright, something light. Oh, and don't tell the others that I went to the Feywilds.
Hmm.
There's...
Trust me, you know damn well my lips are sealed, Koopa.
Ra squints. Are you keeping things from us?
All the time. And TP winks and heads out.
Ra just sort of mutters. I guess that is the type you want to tell your secrets to. Alright. Shopping time. And he stretches just the pain out of his back. And we can focus on other people for the rest of the session because it's been a lot of Ra.
That has been a lot of Raw. So Ra's gonna be out grocery shopping. Myth, TP, Artemis, what do you guys want to do in the meantime?
Artemis is gonna go save the bird.
Artemis is gonna go save the bird. Are you going to be donning a good disguise? Because, you know, you have people
Yes.
looking out.
Yes, she's going to disguise herself as the shadow hunter whose name I forget.
Yep.
Elia.
Cornelia, yeah.
All right.
Oh, and do remember that Artemis asked you to draw Ramu, so...
That's right, she did. Rob probably definitely doesn't remember that anymore because as soon as he went to the Feywilds, he was like, holy shit, I want to draw everywhere here. Like, I'm super hyped for Ra and Inari to be calligraphy bros.
Roll a
yeah,
grim specter of death. Check.
basically Inari just painted that entire world into existence.
Ra does not want a pact with Inari. He only wants the vibe. It's like, alright, vibecation time, peace bitches. Runs to the gardens.
Amazing.
Anyway, so you basically head over to where the local precinct was, where Quetzal was taken. Front gates are closed. There is a big, huge cross plank of wood boarding the circular window above the front door. There is redoubled the guard station there from last time you had visited this place.
Okay.
And the front gates are closed.
So, Artemis is gonna just basically stake the place out for about 20 minutes or so, just seeing how often someone comes through the gates.
Are you gonna do this stealthily, or are you just gonna stand out in the open? Do you want to roll a stealth or deception check?
Oh boy. Oh, you said deception, so that's slightly better, I guess.
All right. 13 deception. Okay, so you approach a random fruit cart and you pick out an apple and you just kind of bite into it as you watch the gate. It's like, yep,
Like an asshole.
you look like an asshole, but nobody really has the passive insight to really question you on it, especially not from across the street. About 40 minutes in, a patrol comes by. They give a salute to the guards, who then open the gate, let them through, and close the gate. And they go back to what their usual "we're being guards" BS is.
Great. So Artemis is going to move on from the fruit cart. She's going to turn a corner. And then she is going to cast invisibility on herself.
All right, so a ring of light appears around basically the space above you, and it just drops down around you, and as it does, just whoop, you no longer are visible to the naked eye.
And then she is going to go hang out near the gate, and if at any point during the duration of her invisibility, which is an hour, the gate opens to let anyone in or out, she's gonna make her way through.
So, and
You're breaking up.
right.
Okay, and now you're not.
About 25-ish minutes pass, and another patrol comes through. This time they seem to be leaving out the station. And so the guards open the gate for them and just swiftly just rush right through.
Yep. Nope.
What does it look around?
You broke up. Probably drop in there time.
Back.
Yeah, you're breaking up, so probably drop in there.
What? Oh no, he's breaking
Robert,
up
not
again?
you.
Yeah.
Oh.
Hello.
Robert. Uh-oh.
We have been consumed by the internet.
F.
F in the chat, boys.
So what happened while I was gone?
Ra prayed to Ramu, and
Yeah, I think we're talking in the chat now.
oh,
Huh?
Excellent.
But the guards looks around as a brush of air breezes past them. They do not spot you, Artemis.
Fools. Okay, so 35 minutes left in invisibility, plenty of time for this. She's gonna head over to the stable. Hello.
Hey. How was your day? If you're talking, we can't hear you.
Is it time for me to guess GM? No.
Um,
Okay, that was the whole
Yes.
that whole
Welcome
ordeal.
back!
The whole ordeal was weird.
Yeah.
How am I
But-
coming through?
You're back. You're good.
Okay. Right. One of the guards looks around as they feel just this rush of wind past them as you just slip through. They don't spot you though. It's
Right.
quite literally impossible for them to spot you.
So she's gonna head over to where the chocobo stable was, where she
All right.
found it for the first time.
So, place like Ardengale, place like Ardengale doesn't really have chocobo stables. They kind of had to makeshift a stable for Quetzal, and it's kind of just a really big cage. The bird is curled up, laying down in it. It's got a bowl of water, some wilted-looking greens that they probably pulled from somewhere because they don't really know how to raise a chocobo. It looks absolutely miserable. And then it
Aw.
spots you.
It smells, I'm guessing.
It reeks of chocobo in here.
No, I mean, Castle probably smells her because she's invisible.
It actually, it can't see you. It smells you. It looks in your general direction. Flutters its wings. It's like it's trying to find you. The room is dimly lit. There are other smaller kennels. These are for like guard dogs and, patrol dogs and stuff. There's a few other like things in just this repurposed shack, basically. And we actually have to move this back to Ardengale because we're not in the Feywild anymore. There we go.
Great. So once she's done this, are there any guards around at the moment?
Not at the moment, but the dogs are also starting to pick up on your smell, and they don't see you, but they can smell you, and that's kind of got the dogs antsy.
Great. So Artemis is going to come outside. She's going to look left and right and up. Are there any guards nearby?
None in the immediate vicinity. So this building has the door you came through from the courtyard, and then it has another door around the kennels that probably go into the main building.
Great. Okay. How is Quetzal's cage slash makeshift stables? Is it barred? Is it locked?
It is barred, and it does have a door on it. The door does seem to have a locking mechanism.
Okay. So I am going to pick this lock with Eldritch Blast.
Oh gosh. All right. I guess roll damage. This is going to basically cause a riot.
Great.
Eldritch Blasts are not quiet. They go pew pew.
I can change the elements of mine, so I could make it like alternate cold and fire, and then just destroy it that way instead of just going boom.
True, but there's still spell impact to account
Okay,
for.
that is fair enough. So we are going to blast this lock off.
Just vanilla Eldritch blasted off.
Yeah, I don't think casting lightning magic on a metal cage is going to do the chocobo inside any good.
Not gonna be doing Quetzal any favors, no.
No, well, not Faraday cage chocobo.
Alright. So 13 force damage definitely does it. The cage does a triple backflip over your spell.
Yeah.
No.
Right. The minute that this happens, Artemis is going to run in and jump on the chocobo's back.
Okay, so as soon as it hits the lock, just the noise of a rings out as the lock is shattered. The hounds start barking, making a lot of noise. Even Quetzal's alarm. Quetzal hops up, starts fluttering. Cage is pretty cramped once Quetzal is up on 2 feet. But you're able to kind of shimmy onto the bird as best you're able. You duck your dead hound head down so as to not hit your forehead on the upper rim of the cage. I'm assuming you're pulling the reins to get Quetzal running.
Yeah. She's going to lean down and she's going to whisper into his ear. Run and jump, boy. I'll handle the rest.
Quetzal won't pretend to know human words, but it does know that the door is open and it doesn't want to be in here, so it just kicks aside nasty ass fucking shitty greens. Rushes forward for the door, just like flipping, just kicks it right off of its hinges, sliding into the courtyard. Here we go again.
Oh no, we're doing one better this time. So the minute that they hit the courtyard, Artemis is going to lay one hand on herself, lay one hand on Quetzal, and she's going to cast Fly. No, once she casts Fly, she is not invisible anymore.
Alright, so the illusionary veil around yourself drops as blue feathers begin to surround Quetzal, making him significantly lighter. And you're gonna fly, so
Yep.
where are you going?
We're going straight over the walls.
Alright, so you start flying upward. The guards have basically been alerted by now. They start rushing into the court, only to see you take off out of reach. They start yelling at each other. One goes in, and as you're about 40 feet in the air, one of them comes out with a rifle. Starts loading it. How do you react?
Okay, if she's going to do that,
We
then
need some better music for this.
I don't know. I kind of like the really weird ditty for this supposedly calm, like really intense moment.
this is a good one. I think this is a good one for this. So, yeah, we're gonna pause it in here. As you fly up, one's like guards are shouting at each other. Everything is in disarray. One of the guards comes back with a long rifle. Basically, has to start loading it to try and shoot you down. Here we go. But you're taking off. Is there a certain direction you want to fly? I would suggest over the building and try and cut off as much direct line of sight as possible.
And as they are leaving that range, Artemis is going to pull the obsidian carrot over her head, and she's going to throw Eldritch Blasts behind her at his general location. Gonna make these thunder.
All right.
Just throw them off a bit more, because even if they're going to cause some explosions.
So basically, you throw some Fusrodas.
Yeah.
Yeah, you bring your hand up, you channel some Eldritch energy, you twirl it about, readjust its elemental alignment, and you just point your hand and just these waves of force just blast out from your hand, and just as they impact the ground, they just create these loud bursts of noise that send everyone scattering. The rifle misfires by a long margin. I'm pretty sure you heard a Wilhelm scream somewhere. But as the police are like starting to recover, you're already much out of their reach. Question is, where are you gonna go with your flying chocobo? Even Quetzal is like kind of confused that it can fly, but it's sort of adjusting to it.
I know, a bird that can fly. Who'd have thought it? Okay, she is going to use her map. And she is going to land a reasonable distance away from the hideout, and then she's going to make the rest of the journey there on foot after shedding her disguise.
Okay.
And changing to a different one.
All right, so you drop the disguise, you don a different one, you manage to find a nice little secluded spot to do all this. The guards they haven't quite reached you yet, but they're probably getting ready to fan out and search the city top to bottom for a runaway chocobo and a chocobo thief. So, things are on high alert again.
And a particular chocobo thief.
With a particular chocobo.
Yeah, they are doing... This has not been a good day for animal control.
No, it has not. But yeah, you find a spot. Remind me where you're planning to hide Quetzal now?
Back at the Ramu worshippers.
Oh, okay, so back at the warehouse.
Yeah.
Alright, so you slide into the warehouse with Quetzal in tow. Quetzal is still kind of coming down from the high of, holy crap, I was flying.
I'm assuming that by this time...
Do you hand the reins to someone else?
Yeah, she's gonna hand the reins to Serge, I guess. Like,
Serge takes the reins and he looks at you like, what the hell am I supposed to do with this? He doesn't say anything, but he does.
I don't know, but he really needs the emotional support this bird provides. Okay.
Oh, Myth was like sitting near the warehouse entrance, poring over the map. I'm assuming that she obtained from what's his face by now,
Lewitz?
Lewis. Now
Yeah.
he's good with
So-
names. I'm not.
Yeah, you gave Lewitz a brief talk, and he's kind of a quiet boy, but he seems amicable enough.
And for that, I'll give him like and just for the help, I'll give him 100 gil.
100 gil, wow.
You gave 40 gil to get clothes, and you're giving this random child 100 gil.
Yeah, the 40 was because
There's some favoritism involved.
the 40 was because was partly because I was expecting him to spend it all on clothes.
I'm just saying, you tip random strangers more than your co-workers.
Anyway.
Yep.
So you look over the map. It basically has a lot of the city districts are like basically circular dioceses, as the city is a bunch of towers kind of connected by balconies. They have allocated the different districts to these different towers, basically. Writing on the map sort of signifies what district is what. And there's a big old black marker X about where the warehouse is. Just to let you know.
And then so those maps. And then are there any particular like places that are marked like do not go or no idea what's here or so on and so forth? Like unexplored areas?
It's very approximate. It's not exact. It's mostly approximate, but you do see in the different districts there is a sigil denoting the children of Ramu. There's another sigil at the bottom of this map, and in all capitals, written in marker, is safe. So from that, you can presume that those are kind of like safe spots throughout the city.
Okay.
But you don't know exactly where they are. Just
Makes sense.
you have a general notion.
This is Ardengale, right? Ardengale was built. Is there some kind of pattern to the towers in the dialysis? Do all of them have like weird branching paths? Like, do all of them have a central tower that they all branch out of, or something like that?
There is the central tower, and that is where the temple is, as well as where the House of Innovations is operating.
Okay. So there's a central tower. Central tower was one temple, and now
And about 3 major towers surrounding it, though it's not like it's a little asymmetrical, the layout.
Okay.
I presume you meant asymmetrical and not asymmetrical.
Whatever. Tomato, tomato.
Alright.
Well, That took longer than expected. Is Rabbi?
Doesn't seem so. Welcome back, Artemis.
Oh, that's right. I said I was going to actually meet him at the market.
Oh.
Alright. Well,
Well, at least Quetzal is here.
I need to meditate for an hour and then I'll be heading out.
Yes. Huh. Myth raises an eyebrow at that, but doesn't press it further.
So yeah, Artemis is going to have a short rest to replenish her spells, so time skip an hour for her.
Well, okay. Okay, where's TP? Myth has been mostly like staying in the base and just like convalescing after the day's events.
TP's been doing much the same because he's out of wild shape and can't do much. He's grumbling. He's very clearly holding his pike staff and looking at the Shanto, grumbling.
Can't you work some other kind of illusion magic?
All right, so I guess I'll take Quetzal's reins from Surge and let's see. Nope, this is not the spell I wanted. Loop and make some good berries for him.
He seems to appreciate the good berries more than whatever that crap he was eating before.
Understandable, have a nice day. Yep. Just give.
I'm fairly certain
And then like I'll eat, and up to 10 berries. I guess I'll eat one of my own too, just like to like, because I don't think I've eaten all day. Holy crap. I suppose we're just going to be stuck like this for a bit. Quetzal?
yes, well, he can't leave the building until we. What? Can't leave the building until we've dealt with whatever this is. We're going to be on high alert, but that's not going to help them much because we're disguised the entire time. Unfortunately, we can't disguise the bird unless you happen to have a truckload of paint around somewhere.
I have holy moth, but I don't think anyone would be happy with that.
Wouldn't last long enough anyways.
I didn't even. Don't chocobos need exercise as well? How are we going? How are they there? Isn't there? I don't think Quetzal would be able to get any in this with our peculiar situation.
Yes, well, I think if they recapture him for a third time, they may not imprison him, if you ask my.
Oh, fair enough.
So what's the next move? Artemis is resting. Is there any place Myth wanted to go, or she kind of stuck here?
She's kind of stuck here, especially with them at high alert again.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of same with TP.
Seriously, do you not have any illusory magic whatsoever?
No.
Not only. Alright. Myth as mystical. I'm gonna cast frostbite, druid craft, and like, what's the weather for tomorrow?
Yeah, cast Druidcraft.
Yep.
All right.
I'm
so
using the first
find-
effects.
You basically find a place where you can tap into the latent energy of nature. Kind of do the air thing. Basically put your palms together and manifest a sphere. And this sphere is murky and dark purple with little crackling veins of lightning. Very ominous.
There's a storm coming up tomorrow. Except it doesn't look like a regular storm.
Well, considering what we're trying to do, that may actually bode well.
Yeah, if you have... Are you planning... so you weren't doing your whatever you were to do to pull off the stunt with the Levin energy generators or what have you tomorrow? I suppose it would be a good time with this sort of weather.
Oh no, I can do it today. It's no real difficulty. That being said, I do wonder. It's a little more risky, but I could adapt my plans in a way that would prove whether or not our erstwhile friends are pulling the strings here.
That'd be useful to know.
Might need to draw around in that case.
So,
What have we gotten ourselves into?
I ask myself that every day, Koopa.
Myth.
Hmm?
Suppose out of all of us, you've had the most contact with. What's his name? Hale, the.
Hale.
Yes, yes, the mysterious arbiter of destiny, not vegetable.
Yes, he back in Aglacia, he almost killed me. I think.
And Rita, what was he wearing at the time?
He was wearing his regular outfit with the hood and
Did you see much of his face?
not particularly. It was rather dark inside the temple, as well as there wasn't much light other than the fire magic site within Ifrit's temple as well. It was most of it was darkened by either his doing or a manner of problem with the temple. I do not know. What did he? Although, was there anything in particular I remember distinctively about him?
give me an intelligence check. See how well your memory is.
Flat intelligence?
Flat intelligence.
Okay.
There's no memory check, so.
Fair enough.
History?
Well, that's more of like academic history than personal history, I guess. It was brief, but you got a good glimpse of his eyes. They were kind of like a sky blue. He had a rather thin face, clean shaven. Had blonde bangs that kind of like fell over his eyes.
Okay. I did see into his hood. However, uh, his eyes were a peculiar shade of sky blue. His face was very unshaven, and he seems like he is a blonde as well, with bangs that cover his eyes.
Uh,
Mm-hmm.
and he seemed fairly young, being some ancient arbiter of destiny and blah blah blah.
And despite his age as we would know it, but when considering everything, he seemed so young in appearance. I dare say would not be more. He was a human that would not be more than perhaps 25 years of age.
Right, okay. I will file that away in the back of my mind if need be. Yeah. So I think should probably just cut to Rano, have him do the shop, and then Artemis goes and meets him once her short rest is over.
Sure. So Ra goes over to the markets. He's been there before.
As you do that, guards are kind of in disarray. They're kind of running here and there, and they're questioning people.
All right.
They haven't made their rounds to you yet, but
All right. So I'm going to look for any shop that looks like it would have any staves in it to sort of hide out in.
yeah, alright, so you step into basically a magical curio shop. You can tell because it's got a nice little fancy arcane design, except it's weirdly in neon lights.
Funny. All right, I walk in.
Coming up with an NPC on the spot. Alright, Junrai woman. Kind of has a very fancy attire on. She sees you step in and she's like, come for a poultice or something?
Staff, actually.
Staff. Right. Staves. Is this a custom pickup, or are you looking more towards the general stock?
This is more of a perusal.
Alright.
Is there any particular display out, or?
There is a rack with a few different staves. One is like kind of metal with like a crystal fixture on the top. Another is like kind of like wood that like gnarls and twists near the top into a sort of spiral.
Any price tags on them?
So they're kind of bolted to the rack, and they have like little brackets in bronze with like the prices stamped on them.
What did Myth ask for again? Pata?
Myth?
Wait, she asked for like a different set of clothes.
Gotcha. So, yeah, what are the price tags on the staves?
On the staves. Adventure supplies, transportation, jeweler, stone.
Like they don't have to be
potion
simple.
shop,
They don't have to be like
artisan shop.
really fancy clothes or anything. Just like clothes that look very like normal instead of the very Feywildy stuff.
Mhm.
Okay.
So each of these they seem to be ranging from the lower end 700 gil to upwards of 1,500 gil.
Can you tell me the functional differences between these? And he holds up the 700 gil staff and the 1500 gil.
Well, the differences are quite minimal. They are magic casting foci for the most part. It all depends on how much you value the materials and the durability. As you can see, we have a aluminum casting rod of 1,500. Very sturdy material. Will last you a good long while. In the 1,000 range, you have a birch rod. In the lower end, you have a hybridized tin with beechwood.
You get much beechwood up here? Raj just grins.
Whenever there's stock, you can imagine that trade with the other cities is very crucial to the lifeblood of this city, given its state. Not much for farm growth, though.
In terms of conduciveness to electricity, which of these would you say is the most insulated?
The woman kind of raises an eyebrow at you, but she doesn't really question that further. Well, wood is a pretty natural, if you're looking to resist electrical spells and the like, you know, feedback and whatnot, and she kind of twirls her hand.
No, I'm talking about, like, literal lightning from a storm.
Well, you definitely don't want to go waving a metal rod around.
So the wood would be better then.
Most cases, yes. It also has a fine quartz fixture for focusing and attuning magical energies and producing, you know, a resulting spell.
You seem like you really know your stuff. I'm gonna roll insight. How well does this person know their stuff?
With 11 insight, they seem kind of basically magically nuanced, as far as you can tell. At least they have their basics covered. You know that much.
Alright, so they're definitely not full of shit.
Not entirely, as far as you can tell.
Alright, Alright, this one you said was 1,000, and he holds up the birch with the quartz fixture.
Indeed.
He looks around after setting it on the counter. Are there any clothes?
There's a few select robes and stuff. Few hats that, you know, Artemis would probably enjoy, given their size and general wizard vibe they give off. But yeah, these seem to be things that are typically wizard and other such magic practitioner paraphernalia.
He takes one of the biggest hats over, and he holds it up and says, "Does this come in other colors?"
That comes in brown leather, deep purple, black with a red trimming. We also have white with a green trimming. It is a top hat. A very smokestack top hat.
And how much?
I'm just imagining. Sorry, go on.
I think we're all imagining it, Pata.
Scrolling up to it. There we go. Tailor and textiles. Da-da-da. 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 All right. Let me think here. That, my friend, would be 1,500 gil.
For the one hat.
Sorry, no. I have my prices all fucking wrong. Sorry. One sec.
She
Retconning.
just fucking throws the clipboard on and she's like, no, I've been, this is my 4th shift within 24 hours. No, I'm just kidding.
No, it's no, that hat is actually 300 gil.
Ah. You said white with green, black with red, and...
There's a deep purple with a more reddish purple trim.
I'll take the black one, I'll take this brown one, and I'll take the white one.
All right, so altogether that's 3 hats. Altogether 900.
For 900, so Bill's 1,900 right now, and he takes another look around. How much are the robes?
Those are actually those are actually 1,500 gil each.
Any auxiliary effects?
People know that you're a wizard, or at least you'll appear to be one.
Eh. So it's a bunch of cloth.
The cloth does look like it's very elaborate.
I suppose the hats and the staff will be it then. Do you know where a tailor might be in this district?
Trying to think. Trying to remember the one place, the something. I mentioned it earlier, and then I even wrote it down. Time to scroll all the way back. Time warp. There's Ledric's leathers and other apparel.
Great.
Wait, no, that wasn't it. That was in fucking Shorefather's Beacon.
Wah, wah. Rock
Okay.
teleports to Shorefather's Beacon. You got this, Robert. I believe you.
Okay. I'm just gonna make up a new place. So she suggests to you, and she says she'll even put it in a good word. If you drop her name, they might even like give you a discount. There's a place she knows that she swears by, called Temeth's Tailoring.
All right. So after that, he nods just profusely and says, "Thank you so much. This has been a great pleasure. But not quite as a customer. Could I ask you a question?"
The Junrai woman, she kind of has like her hair done up in a bun, and she has a single monocle that she adjusts. That would depend on what it is. Can't go giving away all my trade secrets and all, but I can help in any other way.
You seem like you have your connections around here, as far as this commerce goes, and maybe a bit of a stretch to say the city as a whole, but how reliant on survival exactly is Ardengale on this newish technology?
Well, that is more in Guild of Innovations territory, but I can say this is that the head of the guild was very insistent on the big push forward. And of course, you have the Children of Ramu, who were very openly vocal against it.
Which you don't take any
After
particular.
much debate, the two have since stopped working hand in hand, and now, well, there's many rumors that the Children of Ramu still operate within the city, even though usual operations have been outright banned. So I don't tend to swing in the circles that could verify such claims.
He nods slowly. I see. So, as an individual, as a shopkeeper here, you would be okay if things reverted? Or do you stand for personal benefit, one way or the other?
She kind of raises an eyebrow at you and says, "It's a strangely seditious sounding question, but..." She kind of like does a slanted shrug. I was able to get by on this business before the big push, and, well, I'd be a poor business woman if I couldn't adapt to an ever-changing climate, no matter what shape that climate was, be it economical or... you know.
Rod nods. Admirable. Well, I'm sorry for the political strife that Ardengale is currently undergoing, and hopefully things stabilize. That would probably be the best for a district such as this one. As for Temith's tailoring, that wouldn't happen to be the place next to the Mughal telegraph station, would it?
She kind of squints her eyes and says, I believe it was thereabouts.
Great, thank you so much. And Ra takes the hats, the staff, and leaves. He's gonna stop at the telegraph place to see if there's been any response.
All right. No response just yet, but maybe you'll get one in 2 real life weeks.
Great. Then he goes over to the tailoring, and we don't have to play this out. How much is a basic set of clothes that look like they would be trendy in Ardengale?
So trendy in Ardengale is a long sleeve button up shirt with a leather vest over
Perfect.
it. Basically Booker DeWitt looking motherfucker.
What about for a girl? Same thing?
About, but a lot more blousy, a lot more frills and stuff.
And are there any Mughal customers nearby?
Mughals are pretty rare people, and
So no?
you look around and you don't seem to see any.
Alright.
At least not right
how
here.
How much does an outfit run? Just standard.
Standard outfit in this place, because you name drop basically the proprietress, who I didn't give a name for. You just do.
This is her name. Looks to camera.
Her name
Trust
is.
me.
Her
Is
name.
Temith.
She just, there's nobody behind the counter. The same person just pops up and's like, hello there, we've never met.
Her name is. Magic NPC dot RDND F. That's her name.
Great.
Okay.
Yo, just keeping this between the two of us. Word is from Ardengale Magic NPC dot Ardenidiv. You guys got some good prices.
All right, that's enough shit posting. Yeah, so you get clothes on the cheap. Common set is wow. Yeah, 30 gil a pop.
All right. So
Oh,
he's gonna pick
really?
up 2
Wow.
sets, and then he's gonna tip the last 10 gold that Myth gave him, and then he's going to ask if they have any kids sizes.
So happens
Well,
they do.
the desert clothes and Alakashir were only 25.
So happens they do, and so happens that they, with a little bit of needlework, which doesn't take too long, you can kind of get them in TP's general proportions.
Great. So Ra then asks to borrow a knife.
All right.
Uh, did they let him borrow a knife or no?
Yeah. Yeah.
Perfect.
He's
He
like,
takes out the green hat or the white hat with green trim, and he just cuts a hole in the back so the pom pom can go through. He hands the knife back, inexplicably nods his thanks, and then leaves.
yeah, he's the shopkeeper, who is like kind of like a 50-ish-year-old man. Kind of has like one of those caps, Irish sort of caps. I forget what they're called. Oh, just
A
kind of
bowler
gives you.
hat.
No, bowler hats kind of have the fringes on the side.
One of those floppy knit caps. Hold on, I'll find it.
He gives you a bewildered nod, but bids you good day all the same.
And is Ra accosted by the police, or can we end here?
Ra's not actually. Is he? Let me roll on it.
He doesn't.
Let me roll on it.
Okay.
Let me roll on it. Nope.
Feels nice to not be accosted by the police.
Right.
But yeah, it's kind of like one of
Oh,
those
it's like a
hats.
beret.
It's called the Balmoral.
That's
Okay.
crazy. Okay.
But
I
you
have no idea what you just said. Balmer.
Balmoral, like the word moral, but with BAL
Huh.
at the front.
Okay.
You make your way back to the shipping yard, and as you do, you notice that there is quite an intensity of patrols there.
Oh.
While you were out, and while everyone was holding down the fort, one of the children of Ramu came through, and started very breathlessly warning everyone that guardsmen were converging on this area, and that everyone should be ready, either to flee or to fight.
Hell yeah.
And that is where we're going to end tonight's session.
Smack. All on the floor. All right. Recording. Stop.